What is up, all of my beautiful freaking people? Welcome back to another episode of FML Talk. I cannot wait for you guys to hear this episode. Not only is she a returning guest to FML Talk, this story is more fucking wild than her first. So grab a drink, strap the fuck in, and get ready. And welcome to FML Talk.
Oh my God.
Wait, how old was the other girl?
19. Can you believe that shit?
Hey, this is Gabrielle Stone.
Good book?
He did what? 48 hours?
What a dick.
Yeah, but have you seen all the photos on her Instagram? And this is FML Talk.
Oh, no, she didn't.
Y'all know I love a good self-love cocktail and occasionally an actual cocktail. I have always notoriously hated the taste of alcohol and needed it disguised in a good mixology cocktail until I discovered Neft. Because Neft is a premium vodka in its purest form with non-GMO rye, it has a light taste full of character. Not only is Neft one of the best tasting vodkas I've ever had, it also comes in the cutest packaging I have ever seen. Their unbreakable barrel keeps it chilled for up to 6 hours, making it the perfect drink to take just about anywhere. Join me in adding a little actual cocktail into your self-love cocktail with Neft vodka. Cheers! You guys first met Lauren Denham on season 1 of FML Talk. She came on to talk about her marriage to her high school sweetheart and the dissolution of that marriage when she realized that she was feeling trapped and was no longer happy in the relationship that she was in. And she actually ended up cheating on her husband. She has since done so much healing and so much growth. Her story is really powerful and really impacted a lot of my listeners. And she is a dear friend of mine. Besides all of that good stuff, you have now read about her in the ridiculous misadventures of a single girl. She is Liz, who I meet on my Asia trip and travel to a lot of different places with. And it was so cool to not only get to spend that time with her and connect with her because we have so many similarities as far as our divorces and our dads dying. We connect on a lot of different soul levels. So to be able to write her as a character in the ridiculous misadventures was wildly fun for me and awesome for her to read. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear this episode. We are getting into her new relationship and the bombs that exploded when it ended. It's a wild freaking story. And it led her to making a decision to do something kind of unconventional with some plant medicine. So we are really going there today. So without further ado, here is Lauren Denham. What's up, girl? Welcome back. This is the first time I'm saying this to someone. Welcome back to FML Talk.
Yay. Oh my God. Thank you for having me. I love it. I feel like I'm just like chatting with one of my best friends. It's so good.
Because that's exactly what it is. We have had such a journey in a short amount of time together. I'm sad that you're not here sitting with me in studio, but the fact that you are living out your fucking Carrie Bradshaw dreams in New York City right now is so epic to watch.
Thank you. No, it's funny. A lot of people have asked me, like, does it live up to the hype? You know, it's like, I think a lot of us have this fantasy of being Carrie Bradshaw or being in New York and single and dating. And we have this built up idea. And a lot of people are like, well, does it really live up to the hype that we've built it up in our minds? And I'm like, yeah, like it does. Like, and it's maybe even beyond what I imagined it to be. So
it's so awesome to watch you blossom and do all the things. I can't wait to see what transpires with that. But I guess let's just jump right into it because you not only came on FML Talk to first talk about, you know, your marriage and how that ended up going, which I met you after that when you took your soul changing trip to Southeast Asia, where you and I traveled together a little bit. But you also came on an episode of the bonus minis and you were like blissfully happy in this amazing relationship. It was all over social media. Like, we were all like, oh, she's found her person. Like, this is it. So tell me about the beginning of that, how you guys came to be, and then what the fuck happened.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is going to be a journey. So we first began dating, and I guess we should use a code name,
Oh,
right?
yes. So
Okay.
what would you like to name him for today's episode?
Let's go with Chad.
Chad. Love Chad.
Chad. We always love Chads. They're the best. So Chad and I met the very beginning of the year in January, and I had kind of been dating since my divorce. It had been 2.5 years. And no one seriously in that time. I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, I got divorced because I really wanted to feel what it was like to be single, but I've done it now. It's been 2.5 years of dating. Like I'm kind of really, I think, ready for something real.
Right.
And that's exactly when he came into the picture. And I have to say, it was just the first time that I've ever dated someone that I felt was truly like my match. Like an energetic match. He was, I'm such a like fun, free spirited, like light, energetic ball of light. And, I'll be with these guys and they're like super boring, or they're not intellectually stimulating, or they're not emotionally available. And I wasn't finding everything in one person. And he was that person. He was just, he was my match in every way. And I was head over heels in love. I mean, it was real. I thought it was real. And, there were definitely issues in the beginning, but nothing that you can't, I think, work through, and nothing that is abnormal. But there were tiny red flags that were coming up that I was like, you have on the rose-colored glasses, you have on your love goggles, right?
Yep, know all about
those fucking love goggles. So I had those on, and there were little things. He cared very much about his appearance. He had to have the flashy car, he had to have the flashy apartment. He always had to get his hair done and his teeth whitened, and it was kind of like he made me a little bit insecure about my looks. He would make little comments of like, do you have on fake eyelashes, or your nail polish is chipped, or have you ever gotten a facial, or have you ever gotten laser hair removal, or do you want to do that together? Like all of these little things that like after a while,
no.
Yeah. And like, or do you have like hair extensions, or do you have this or do that? And I was like, I said at one point, I said, I feel like I'm being critiqued to see like if you think I'm naturally beautiful enough for you, or like that, it was almost like he was so insecure with his appearance, he projected it onto me.
Right.
I've never had a guy pressure me to get into like a facial, or like to get laser hair removal, or to feel like I'm not good enough.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. And it was like little things. And I would stand up for myself. I was like, hey, I've worked really hard to be confident. You don't know how hard it is in a woman with the world that we live in and these unrealistic expectations to be confident. I was like, I am confident in myself. You're not going to fuck this up for me, and I was very firm in that, and he would listen and take it. But it was always like planting these little seeds of like, it was just slowly chipping away at my confidence, my self-esteem, feeling like I had to be this perfect part in his perfect life. He has this portrait that he's painted where everything's perfect. And I think that he saw me and I looked like the perfect one to be by his side.
Right.
If that makes you right. So I feel like I was playing a part. But we were still very much in love, and there was a lot of happiness there. But then he had also like a very colorful sexual past. A lot of people from his past came through and still in his present. And I was struggling with that a little bit because he wouldn't give me all of the information. Like, for instance, there's a woman that he hooked up with at his work that he sees every week. He wouldn't even really give me the basic information of how long it went on, what happened, when it stopped, like nothing. And he made me insecure to even like ask about it, because if I asked about it, then I was jealous. Right. So it was like, he would gaslight me into being like, well, you're just jealous and insecure. You don't need to know this information. Do you trust me? And I'm like, but I can't move on until I know the basic information.
Yeah, and it's like,
right?
I'm sorry if you are if you have a past with someone that you see every day at work, like
Yeah.
of course you should be upfront with that information and be like
Yeah.
reassuring your partner
Yeah.
as to like, don't worry about it. This is what
Yeah.
happened. Like Tay
Yeah.
and I, it's like he knows everything about all my exes.
Right.
Like,
Right. Well, that's the thing is it's like in any relationship, you should feel safe to go to the person that you're in the relationship with and say, can you just like answer these questions for me? Because these are things that like really are bothering me. I didn't even feel safe to do that because he would shut down. And he literally was just like, at one point was like, I challenge you to only ask information that you feel like you absolutely need. And maybe you should get therapy. I'm in therapy weekly. I'm in therapy there. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you and your therapist are talking about weekly, but honey, you need to like get real with yourself. Like
yeah.
it was just this like you need to get therapy because you want to have basic information about the girl that I fucked that I see every single day.
Right.
Like shit like that, where it's like gaslighting me, making me feel like I was jealous and insecure. And then it's like he went on a boys trip to Mexico, and it was it was right after we had the conversation about me being jealous and insecure. And he asked me, well, what are your expectations of me when I go to Mexico then? Not a well, what can I do to make you feel safe and secure when I'm in Mexico, baby? Like, should I, text you every night before I go to bed, or like what will make you feel good? But it was like, and then in that moment I was trying to like not be jealous and insecure. So I'm like, I don't need anything. I trust you. But it's like, it was all manipulation where it was just like always me feeling like I was the problem.
Well, and PS, for anyone that's in therapy, like if he was in therapy weekly, like you should then know that when you go away on a trip or do something that's going to make your partner feel insecure, how to approach that conversation and in a kind way be like, hey, what can I do to, like, there's people that are in therapy and that are really doing the work. There's a way that they talk. You know what I mean? Like there's a way that they approach situations to try and like minimize any blow ups. And that's not what that was. No. That was manipulation.
It was so much manipulation, so much control, gaslighting me, making me feel like I was a shitty person, a shitty girlfriend. All of these things that now on the outside I know aren't true. And there were a lot of good time in between, but here's the real kicker. When we started dating in January, he was doing dry January like a lot of people. Everything in LA was closed. It was COVID. We weren't going out anyways. And he was like, I'm feeling really good not drinking. Dry January is going great. I want to keep it going. And I was fully supportive. That's great. I mean, I drink, but I don't need to drink a ton. So we didn't drink from like January to maybe like April, May. Then then summer's happening. And we're going out, we're, beach parties a lot. We're meeting each other's friends for the first time because it was like we were like unveiling, our unveiling to the world of like, it's on social media and with our friends, like meet this person I'm madly in love with. And he started drinking again. Now, his family dynamic, there is an abusive, I don't want to like use specifics, but he grew up in a home where there was an abusive alcoholic. So that's what he saw. Okay. And he had told me that he was doing dry January because he just drank a lot the year before and he needed to he just wanted to reel it in. But once he started drinking in May, June, it became very apparent to me that he was potentially also an abusive alcoholic. And a lot of things happened, a lot of big fights. I was constantly walking on eggshells when we drank together. If I said the littlest comment, he would turn into like a violent rage, screaming at me. I would always end up in bed or on the floor crying my eyes out, apologizing to the point where I didn't even know what I was apologizing for. Right. And one blow up happened one night where we had been drinking all day. He had him on music around 2 a.m. at his place. He poured himself another drink. I was like not drinking anymore. And there was a song that came on. And I said, oh, I know this song. I was like, it's on your Instagram. There's because there was a video of him about a year ago dancing with this cute blonde to this song. So it's like, of course I saw that post and that song kind of like, and you're drunk. So there's no filter. So it's like, yeah, I know this song. It's in your Instagram. And he turns into a monster like I have never seen in my life. He screams at me at the top of his lungs. I'm not screaming back because I'm terrified at this point. I'm shaking. He screams at me at the top of his lungs, Why the fuck would you say that? Fuck you. I've been nothing but fucking faithful and loyal to you. I've not touched another fucking bitch since I met you. Why are you so fucking jealous? Why are you so fucking insecure? Like screaming at me.
God.
Like truthfully, I'm shaking. I'm terrified. I don't say anything. And then he's like, get the fuck out of my house.
Whoa.
And I'm like, it's 2 a.m. Get the fuck out. I just ordered you a fucking Uber. Get the fuck out. And I'm like, I'm not leaving. I'm drunk. And he literally comes to me, puts his hands on me, drags me out of his place, throws my purse out, me out, and slams the door.
Oh, fuck you, Chad.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. And I can see even when you're like retelling it now, you're like shaking and I can see.
Emotions. It was traumatic because it was like this guy that I thought loved me so fucking much, that treated me so good, love bombed the fuck out of me. I saw a monster. It was like, I couldn't believe what was happening. It's like, I knew that we would fight a little bit when we were drunk, and that he would kind of gaslight me and be a little bit of a tyrant. And I would always end up apologizing. He had never like screamed at me and put his hands on me. Yeah. And over the littlest comment, like all he had to say is like, yeah, that was that one post. Like, let's make a new memory to it. Get up and dance. Like, you know, he was a fucking dick. Like he just lost control. And I was at a loss, and it was devastating and traumatic. And the next day he shows up with more flowers than I could even hold. More flowers than ever. More flowers than I've ever received at once. And says to me, I will pay for counseling for us. I will go to anger management, and I will stop drinking around you. Not just I'll stop drinking because maybe I have a problem. Right. I'll stop drinking around you because you're the problem. Because I'm the problem.
Right.
Right. And I even said that around me. Okay. So silly me. And he's bawling his eyes out. Crocodile. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone cry so hard. He's crying his eyes out. I can't have us in like this. I'm so sorry. I've never acted like that before. I'll get all, anger management. I'll stop drinking around you. I'll get us therapy. We'll fix this. I say, okay. So, but it's all manipulation now looking back. He was the one that was doing the really kind thing of finding a therapist for us. So he was going through and weeding them out and telling them the backstory and the whole thing of why we need therapy, all of that. He finds us a therapist, and the entire therapy session was not once about that altercation. It was all about why I'm jealous.
Oh my God.
And right before he asked me to contribute to it, I ended up paying for half of it.
Oh my God.
Like, what the fuck? And how the therapist, like the therapist was like, yeah, he's like, we got into a big fight. And I'm like, well, you put your hands on me. You were abusive. Like, you screamed at me, you put your hand on me, you pushed me out of your place. And the therapist, like, the psychologist, I don't even know where she got her qualifications or what she's doing. But like, when there is possible abuse, you need to talk about that.
Yeah.
The whole session
because let's call it what it is, like drunk or not, that's domestic violence, period.
Yeah. And it was super traumatic. And the only reason I agreed to take him back was because we were going to go to therapy and address that issue. That issue was not even addressed. The issue that he wanted to talk about was my problem. It was always, well, you're the problem because you say these things, you're jealous and insecure and you trigger me. And so let's deal with like how we can make you feel safe and not insecure anymore. And I was just like, you fucking asshole. Like, I just need you to tell me how long you fucked that girl, if there were feelings involved, and when did it end. Like, I just need basic information. Yeah. Like you're and after that, I remember just like bawling my eyes out, being like, I feel like you're gaslighting me. Like, I agreed to he never did anger management. He eventually started, like maybe 2 weeks later, just started drinking again with me, like, and just shoved it under the rug. And then, but it was still really fresh. And then he went to Mexico and barely talked to me the whole time he was there. I had like, I think we talked, he was there for like 7 days or something. I think we talked on the phone once or twice.
Which is not normal. Like when you were in a relationship.
And then the majority of I never got a text of like, oh, I just got home, I'm safe, nothing. I would be in bed just tossing and turning, being like, I don't know where he's at. I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. But he sent me chocolates once.
Oh, right, because that makes up
because
for
that
not
makes it all
being
fine.
communicative. Right. Okay.
Yeah. And
oh
then
my God.
and then the gaslighting. He gets back and he goes, well, my buddy and his girlfriend, they didn't talk once the whole trip. And I'm
your buddy and his girlfriend are fucking toxic then.
Yeah,
like,
well, it's
what?
like that's their relationship dynamic, but that's not ours. Don't gaslight me to think that I have my needs are unrealistic because I would like to know maybe when you're home or somewhat keep in touch with you when you're on vacation. Because I would do that for you. If I was out in Mexico or Miami with my girlfriends, I would send you a text tonight. Hey, baby, going to bed. Had a great night. Whatever, or this is what we're up to today. Like I'd send him pictures. I talk to him every once in a while on the phone. Like I know I would do that because that's the kind of fucking partner that I am. And that's what I need in someone. And so, but gaslight me again to make me feel like, well, his boy and his girlfriend didn't talk at all. So I should be fine too. So anyways, so this is like, I'm getting to the end. So this is the big blow up, his birthday.
Okay.
And he's very big about his birthday. It's all about him. Everything's always about him. So he's has certain dietary restrictions. So I find the best, gluten-free vegan cake in all of Southern California. I drive hours to go get it, spend tons of money. In the middle of the night before his birthday, I get up and decorate his entire apartment, put balloons and streamers and presents and all of this shit. So when he gets up, it looks like he's in a birthday wonderland. I love him so much. I want to make him feel so special. And so I spend so much money on his birthday. I do all of these things. He has his birthday party and he's, very excited to show his friends his really expensive place and to put on the show and whatever. He's also very OCD. It's all control for him, like very OCD. He's terrified usually. Like he would say things if I got makeup on his pillows or makeup on his towels, or if I didn't clean properly or had crumbs, he would come up behind me and clean after me. Like if I put a cup down and it wasn't on a coaster, he'd sweep the little coaster right from under it. So I was constantly walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
And so he was nervous to have his birthday party. So, cause people might mess things up. So, and heaven forbid, it not be perfect. So I'm like, well, we'll buy runners for all of your furniture. We'll make sure everything's fine. It'll be fine. So this is like the universe, right? Like really helping me dodge a bullet with this one, because his birthday party comes, my friend comes, and within seconds, I mean, of course it's my friend, it's no one else. It's my friend comes and within 2 minutes spills a drink. And my nervous system goes into shock because I'm like, oh God, like I know he's going to freak out. And I so desperately want him to have a good birthday.
But that's a problem in itself. Like you shouldn't fucking feel like that. Okay, continue.
So, and then he comes over there and he's frantically like cleaning it up on the floor, scrubbing the walls. Like you can feel his energy. He's like just freaking out. And my friend can feel the energy and she's really embarrassed. And she sees that he's like freaking out a little bit. And I just looked at her and I just want to make sure I want to keep everything light, make sure everyone's having a good time. So I very jokingly say to her, I go, it's okay. I was like, he's a little OCD because he's like scrubbing the thing like obsessively. And I'm like, it's okay. It's like, he's a little OCD. And he hears me and he turns his head and I see that monster again. And he goes, why the fuck did you just say that? And I am I'm like so nervous for him. Like, I'm like, I'm trying to be a buffer. I'm trying to protect him. I'm trying to protect my friend. I'm just doing my best here. Like, Jesus, I'm not like trying to upset him in any way. So he stands up and there are people around. So he's not yelling at me, but he backs me up into the kitchen and he's in my face and he's like, why the fuck did you say that? And I'm apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry, honey. Like, I didn't mean to trigger you in any way. I'm sorry if that was insensitive. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean anything. My friend was just, really upset and she was embarrassed and I wanted to make sure she was okay. And I was worried about you too and blah, blah. And he's like, well, why would you say that? I don't understand why you would say it. Like, just backing me up into the kitchen, like in my face. And finally, his one friend that has a little bit of emotional intelligence saw it and came up to him and tapped him on the shoulder and was like, come on, buddy. Like, leave her alone. And at that point, that's when I was triggered back to the other night when he like screamed at me and put his hands on me. And I also realized that like that wasn't about anything with me being jealous. Like, this is like him he has a problem. Yeah. And after all that I did for his birthday to make sure it was special, like I did so much to make sure, like I didn't, it hurt my heart. And so I went on the balcony because I didn't want to make a scene. And I went on the balcony and I started bawling. And a couple girlfriends came over. And I think that's when it hit me. It's when other people see it. Yeah. And I had two girlfriends come to me when I was crying. And one of them said, you don't have to take him talking to you like that. you can leave this. And that's when I was like, I'm in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it.
Right.
And I thought I was pretty smart. How did I miss this? How did I miss it? And so the rest of the birthday party, I kept apologizing because that's what I've been trained to do. And he kept saying to me very dismissively, I forgive you. I forgive you, Lauren. Let's just have a great night. I forgive you, Lauren. Let's just have a great night. Let's move on, Lauren. Let's have a great night. I forgive you. And my every fiber of my being was like, you forgive me. You forgive me. Motherfucker, I don't forgive you. Like, not once did you say, I am sorry. I apologize profusely. When did you say, I'm actually sorry too, I overreacted? Like, I did not mean to get into your face. I didn't mean to upset you. I know you're probably very sensitive considering the other experience we had when I freaking attacked you almost. Like, I'm so sorry if I scared you again. Like, baby, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to overreact. Like, I was triggered too. Nothing. It's, I forgive you. Let's move on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so jarring to listen to because obviously on the outside and on social media, it was so vastly different. And like there were posts that you would say that had like hints of it. Like it's not always easy, but it's about like coming back together. And I got to be honest, I met him one time when you and Chad came over to my house for a barbecue, and I remember you guys left and I looked at Tay and went, he's fucking weird, man.
Really?
Like there's something really fucking off about that guy. And obviously you can't say that to your girlfriend who is like blissfully in love, because like, what if it's not an abusive red flag and it's just like he's got some weird fucking quirks? But like there was something in his energy and I was just like, this is strange.
Yeah. Well, listen to how the night ends. Yeah. At that point, it was literally taking back my power. And I said, it's his birthday. I could sit here and pretend that everything's fine and play the part. But every fiber, my fucking dignity and self-respect said, no, this is it. I'm done playing the part. And I went into his bedroom and I just laid down. I didn't participate in the party anymore. He came in once to try to talk to me and I completely shut down and didn't want to talk because I'm terrified of talking to him when he's drunk because I didn't know what he would do. And I did send him a really mean text that said like, this is over. You're the biggest fucking disappointment of my life. Because I loved him. I would have married him. I would have done anything for him. And then all of a sudden I hear him and his like emotionally illiterate friends outside talking about the strip club. I hear strip club. I'm in his bed crying. And I hear Chad say, yo, I got $500 cash. Like, let me go get it. Whatever. I'm such a douche. And all of a sudden, I hear his friends like, yeah, I just ordered an Uber Black. And not one of them like checked on me. Like his friends could have come. If that was my group of friends, they would have been like, let's go talk to her. Like maybe what's really wrong? Or like, you need to stay back and just like work on that. Like, we know how much this relationship means to you. Like, it's like, go work on your relationship. No, they take him to the strip club. They leave to the strip club.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Like, I truly can't believe, and I, in that moment was like, my person would come in here. My person would have the awareness and the compassion and the loyalty to say, you know what, like my girl's in there and like, you know, I'm going to go fix this, you know?
Yeah.
He goes to the strip club, not to mention he has a history of using escorts and all these other things. So, you know, that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
So, but I'm jealous and insecure. So he goes to the strip club and I walk out and I just like I get out of bed. I'm a little drunk. It's like 2 a.m. and I walk around his apartment and all of a sudden I see this big cake. And it's his birthday cake. And I pick it up. And Mr. OCD, can't have a mess anywhere. I pick up his big ass birthday cake and I just smash it on the ground.
Yes, girl. Oh my fucking God. I cannot. That was the best fucking possible end to that ridiculous story that you could have said.
Yep. And I just sat there and I like relished in that for a couple moments and I walked out and I never went back.
For anyone listening to this podcast right now, do not steal this story and write it in a fucking movie because we are going to. So do not have permission to take this. So motherfucker leaves you crying on his birthday in his bed to go to a strip club. Mm-hmm. And then you come out, tear stains down your face, take the fucking expensive ass vegan gluten-free bullshit birthday cake that you bought him and smash it all over his fucking floor.
Yeah. And
brilliant.
And the next day, and then I go home and did not sleep a wink because I'm imagining ass and titties in his face and all of these things. And I'm like, God, I am way too fucking good for this shit. Like, oof. And we talked on the phone a couple hours later and I'm like, well, clearly he's going to apologize, right? As soon as he gets on the phone, all I hear is, you ruined my birthday.
Oh my God, I cannot.
You ruined and I told my girlfriend's like, what is he, 10? It's like, get over it. But he kept saying, you ruined my birthday. You ruined my birthday. You were such a drama queen. You made everyone feel so uncomfortable. And it was like, no, you made people feel uncomfortable with how you're projecting all your shit onto me.
Yeah.
Like, do they know that you put your hands on me and screamed at me 2 weeks before? Do they know why I was reacting that way?
Right. Do
they know why I had such a crazy reaction? Because if they had any ounce of emotional intelligence, they'd be like, whoa, something's off here.
Yeah.
Like, but no. And he is so charming and charismatic that he really, and he did it to me. He fooled me, because I was madly in love with him. So he's really good at what he does. So I don't even actually blame his friends. But the whole conversation was, you ruined my birthday. How could you? And you were so embarrassing. You made everyone feel uncomfortable. You just wouldn't shut up about it. You And then I was apologizing again. Even afterwards, I sent him this long text. I'm so sorry. Please apologize to your friends. I didn't mean to ruin your birthday. It breaks my heart. I love you so much. I wanted your birthday more than anything to be the best. It was like that wounded, weak, submissive victim that I was like this, because he was so manipulative and so emotionally abusive. And I was still upset and apologizing. And then he didn't even have the decency. And let's just preface this with a week before we were joking about getting married. We were so happy and so in love. I thought he was my person, right. No doubt about it. I thought we had issues, but we would work through them. He doesn't even give me the respect of having a conversation really about what happened once we kind of had settled. He never apologized. He never even would meet with me face to face. All he said was, there's no chance of reconciling. I will have a brief phone conversation just to give my regards.
Wow.
That's all. And it's all control. He's setting the, the limits and the boundaries. And when we got on that phone call, I said, you know what? I said, we both were in this relationship and we both have a say in how it ends. So I appreciate that. You just want to keep it short and say, I enjoyed our time together, peace the fuck out. But no, there are things that I need to say and I'm going to say them and you don't have to say anything back, but I would appreciate if you could at least listen. And I went through and I owned everything on my part. I told him how much I loved him, how much I, appreciated him, how much I would do the work with him if he was willing. And I owned my own shit. I'm not perfect. I can be passive aggressive. I can say little things. I'm human. I have abandonment issues. My dad was a drug addict, abandoned me and treated me like shit. I can own all of this stuff. I even said, maybe I drank too much that night. I didn't eat enough that day. I owned all of that and told him how much I loved him and how I would be willing to work through it with him. Do you think he at least said, maybe I drink too much too, or maybe I have an anger issue?
No, I don't think he said any of that.
Nothing. No, he didn't. No, he did not own anything or apologize.
So how did it end? Because I want to get into the stuff that came next. Was it just that conversation and it was done?
So that conversation was it. He gave his regards, told me he loved me, didn't own shit. And that was that. And that's when I knew he was not my person, because my person would have been like, fuck, you know what? I think I'm an alcoholic. And I think I may be abusive, or I think I maybe have anger management issues, or I'm not, like my person could have owned their shit and would have done the work. And when I saw that he took zero ownership, I'm like, well, this is very narcissistic. This is very just abusive. And I don't want to be in that.
Yeah, but I know you well enough as a person to know that now that you're on the other side of it and those goggles are off, like hearing this story is fucking insane. Like, it's the prime example of the friend standing by being like, how do you not see this? How are you accepting this when like you're such a strong chick? And like I'm mind blown.
I mean, I'm mortified in my, I cannot believe how this happened to me. I truly cannot believe it, but that's the point. And I think that's what I want to share. And I'll tell you what ayahuasca told me about all of this too. But so pretty much that was it. And I didn't fight for it because damn, like he doesn't deserve me. Like he does not deserve me. And if someone lets me go, I'm going and you'll never get me back, period. So I spent like a week in bed, barely ate, devastated. And I had a moment where I was in the bathroom and I was looking at myself. It was all I could do to get the strength to even go to the bathroom. And I was looking in the mirror and I was just like, I'm in my 30s. I'm technically now unemployed. I don't have any family. I don't have any partner. I don't have children. I am alone in this freaking world, man. And I have just had the love of my life ripped from me too. And it brought so much wounding in terms of like, my dad was an addict and abusive, and even up until his deathbed, he never owned it. He never took responsibility. He never apologized. And I felt like he never loved me enough to get clean. And in a way, it was like I was dealing with that wound again with Chad, because if he loved me enough, God, he would have just said, I think I have a drinking problem. Right. I would have stopped drinking with him. Like, I mean, I would have done anything. And I was like, damn, he didn't love me enough. But now I realize he didn't love himself enough.
Well, yeah, that's the basis of what it always is.
So I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just to the point where it's like, I've never been suicidal and it's not like I would ever hurt myself, but I just remember being like, you know what, God, like if you need one to take one for the team, like you can like I'm good. Like I've lived a lot. I've experienced a lot. Like I'm kind of like over this being alive thing at this point. I'm kind of giving up. And I looked in the mirror and I just had this moment of like, it's going to get better. And I remember just rolling up my sleeves of my sweater and just being like, all right, you're going to turn this around. You're going to pick up the pen. You are going to write the best fucking chapter of your fucking life. And you are going to make this the best thing that's ever happened to you. You are going to look back and be like, damn, that's when I transformed my life. I need to send him a thank you, because he is going to be the reason that I have a new career, a new life, a new outlook, a new person that loves me unconditionally, treats me well. Like I'm going to look back and be like, damn, he didn't break me. He made me. And I didn't do it for him. I did it for me. It's not even about like the best revenge you can have is loving yourself and choosing yourself. I am going to love myself so much. Like it's a problem, like, I
mean, girl, hi, look who you're talking to. You're like literally preaching like the life that I lived. Yeah. So I'm with you.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, so anyway, so I had that moment. I rolled up my sleeves. I'm like, we're going to turn this like biggest turd into something terrific. And we're going to alchemize the fuck out of this shitty situation. And that's when I got a text from my friend asking me if I wanted to do ayahuasca in 2 weeks.
Oh my God. Like the timing. You can't make it up. The timing. I've always wanted to, I wanted to do ayahuasca the last couple of years. And I always told myself that it's like, it will come to me. It will find me when the time is right. I never actively seeked it out. So it came to me. Perfect timing. And for people who don't know what ayahuasca is, it's basically a plant medicine that is used in, I mean, they do Costa Rica and like in indigenous places all over the world, where you drink this tea, but it's a drug.
So so there's two types of plants that are used. One is the ayahuasca vine, and then another one starts with a C, but it has like the DMT element together, and so they mix them. It was used in the Amazon, and indigenous communities have used it for thousands of years. It's considered medicine. It's a way to kind of deal with like trauma or deep emotions, or have expanded consciousness, spirituality, to tap into inward, outward, everything, to tap into kind of the divinity within. And just, a lot of people will also be able to like connect with old loved ones who have passed on. I mean, it really knows no limits, but you really never know what you're going to get. You don't know what experience you're going to get.
Yeah. And I mean, there's been so many celebrities that have gone on record, like Will Smith just did like a big stint of it. Michelle Rodriguez, there's a great YouTube documentary where she has a whole experience with it. And everyone that does it, and I know people personally that have done it, says it's like 10 years of therapy in one fucking session. And it can really, really, like, there's people that are raging alcoholics and drug addicts and do this once and they never touch another thing in their life. Like, there's been miraculous stories over the years of it. Yeah. So tell me about your experience with it.
Okay. So I went to this little retreat center. It's very basic, very minimal, no frills attached. And it was like on the border of Mexico and California, in the middle of the desert. There's a shaman there. You do it at night. It's like a night medicine. So you do it at night. You're on these little mats in this room, and you're all kind of like in this circle type thing. And everyone has your little puke bucket, right there in front of you. And the shaman will bless the tea. And the first night I did it. So I did it 2 nights. So I did 2 different rounds. And they asked you whether you want like a small, medium, or large. And I'm like terrified. Yeah. So I'm like small, and my biggest thing was like, cause you do purge. So a big part of ayahuasca is purging. Some people vomit. Most people vomit. Some people, it gives you like diarrhea, or like you have to go to the bathroom, which I was terrified, because I was like, am I gonna have to shit my pants? Like, do I, like, seriously, I was like, am I gonna have time to get to the bathroom? Like, this is a very valid concern. So anyways, I do a little bit, and I don't really feel a lot, which is interesting. And then all of a sudden you hear everyone starting to puke, because it's like sitting at like hitting people 30 to 45 minutes after. And I'm like, oh no. Hence the bucket. So all of a sudden you hear, and it's dark because it's night and you can't hear that. You just hear vomit everywhere. And I'm just like, oh, what am I doing? Why did I sign up for this shit? And then it starts hitting me. And what's crazy is I don't puke. I didn't puke night 1. Didn't puke. And so, but I took a small, so I didn't take a lot. But what was happening is I had all of these, it was like I had this otherworldly intelligence come into my life and guide me through my life. I saw my entire life from a child to now. And it was literally like, because they call it like Mother Ayahuasca. I literally felt Mother Ayahuasca holding me, and she was walking me through my whole life. And I'm probably going to cry a lot during this whole ayahuasca journey. But I was sobbing during that, and she was taking me through my whole life, because I didn't have an easy childhood, and and we definitely went through a lot. And she kept saying to me over and over, you are so brave. You are so brave. You are so brave. Like, even now, feeling so alone and like so hurt, like, you're so brave. And so then I'm like sobbing and just like watching my life and just getting this huge theme of you are so brave. And then I went to my relationship with Chad, and I was having so many questions about that. And there was this is crazy, but I, for some reason, always felt like there was like a spirit baby that wanted to come through ever since I met him. And I never believed in anything like that. I told my 2 best friends that I feel this like energy, this little girl that wants to come through for us. And and it was really overwhelming, to the point, like, I definitely I told my 2 best friends. I never told him, because I was like, that's weird. But I felt this little girl. And when I was with him, I felt like she wanted to come through. And I asked, ayahuasca, I was like, why did I feel that little girl if that wasn't meant to be? And ayahuasca said very firmly that was a possibility. That was a possibility for your life. And we get so hung up on these possibilities. And it was like, but what you don't realize is there are other possibilities. And for all of us, we get attached to these feelings or these instincts or whatever. And yes, that means that timeline is available to you, but there are others too. So that was really interesting. And it also was very clear in the text that I sent him, you're the biggest fucking disappointment of my life. I had a lot of shame and guilt about that. And I got the message that wasn't for him. That was for my dad.
Oh, wow.
It said very clearly that wasn't for him. That was for your dad, because in that night he was your dad.
Ooh.
That night.
Oh, I just got chills.
He was the addict who screamed at you and got in your face and treated you like shit and never owned it, never apologized.
Yeah.
That was your dad. And yeah. So there were a huge, the thing was what it did is it just was like this web of thoughts, and it was piecing it all together for me, making it all make sense. And the second night, this is when it gets crazy. The second night,
oh my God, just small to large, no room for the medium.
Yep, did a large, and let me tell you, did I go on a journey? It took me on. And what it told me, this is the journey to me. And it took me on a journey to me of all of these phases that I've been through. It made me like, and I didn't even know what was happening, but in the moment I would be like, okay, like I ran out of the whole ceremony. And I was like, and it was like, you run. Like everything that I was doing in the moment, it was showing me what it was doing in my life. I was doing in my life. You run, you hide, you this, you that. I ended up, I went outside and I looked up, and the whole sky, all of the stars were connected. They were all this beautiful blue, and they were all like a string connecting them all. And it was like, we are all connected. We are all connected. It's all connected, and it was this beautiful spiritual moment. And then I went into a room. I found this random dark room, and I laid on the wood floor by myself, and I bawled my eyes out. And then I hid under the bed, and it was like, you're hiding from the world. Like you are hiding right now. And it made me so uncomfortable. I was bawling my eyes out. It was the hardest night of my life. And then it came through, and it was almost like I met with my galactic family. Like, I know it sounds crazy. And it was like this intelligence came into me. It was moving trauma throughout my body. Like my hands, I didn't even know how I was doing it. I was massaging my body, moving out emotions and out trauma. It was literally like clearing house for me and rebooting me. I didn't even know how I was doing it. And then I made contact with the little girl.
Oh my God.
The spirit. And Chad and I had a few past readings with just people, channelers and numerologists, who always said that we find each other in every life and lose each other. And that was the last thing he said to me, is that I feel like I've lost you 100 times over again. And the little girl came through and said it's because she's trying to bring us together in every lifetime so she can come here. Wow. And be with us. And I bawled my eyes out, and I told her that she can let us go, and that she can move on.
How powerful is that?
And that we love her. I was like sobbing that she can move on. And I was like, maybe in the next life, I don't know, but you can move on. And I love you, and I love you so much. And I'm so sad that we weren't able to pull it together for you, And here's the thing, I never purged anything. But all of a sudden, after I told her she could go, I felt something in my underwear, and I looked, and it was blood.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't supposed to start my period for a week and a half. So I had no tampons, no nothing. Went to the bathroom, sat on the toilet, and just watched blood drop by drop pour out of me.
Holy shit.
Mixed with tears. And it was like I was letting go.
Oh my
of this little
God.
girl.
I have chills over my entire fucking body.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was sobbing. And then I got up and I looked myself in the mirror again. And ayahuasca said to me, "You're not birthing a baby, you're birthing a book. Now go fucking write."
Yes.
And it said, a big theme of my life has been allowing men to treat me like shit. Aside from my ex-husband, he was very good to me. But my dad and guys that I've dated, even my dad, I never called him out on his bullshit. I just always forgave him and was like that timid little girl that just wanted to be loved. And I felt the same way with Chad. I just, this little girl that wanted to be loved, and I was always apologizing. And it literally, ayahuasca said to me, it wrote something for me for my book, but it said, to the men who took my tongue, but still I learned to speak, and I will scream and I will scream and I will scream.
Ugh.
That came to me out of nowhere. And it said to me, it's okay to scream.
Fuck yes.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay to be angry. Yeah. You can be angry, because that shows that a boundary was crossed. That shows that someone treated you in a way that wasn't okay. Use it. Use that as your fuel, and you let it light a fire under your ass, and set the fucking world on fire with it, and help people, change lives. Be loud about it.
Fuck
be fucking
yes,
loud.
Girl.
And yeah. And so I booked a ticket to New York City. I have, ever since I've done ayahuasca, I have been changed. I'm fearless. Nothing like I used to always be afraid of speaking up and doing like Instagram lives or doing TikToks or like putting myself out there. I was so terrified of, who am I? Why does anyone care what I'm doing? And finally it was just like, listen, you're not hiding anymore. You're not, this is showtime. It's showtime. This is, your whole life has been preparing you for this moment right now. And if there is anybody that I'm going to bet on, it's me. Like, nothing is going to stop me at this point. Nothing. I am fucking ready, and I'm here for it. And I've been waiting my whole life to be this version of me. And, I needed that breakup. I needed it. I'm going to go from the girl that he had to the girl that he will never be able to get.
Fuck
I am
yes,
up-leveling my
girl,
life.
preach.
I am up-leveling my life in ways that he's not even going to be in my league. Like, there, it's just like, I am stepping into my power. I am going to literally make this the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yes.
And I believe that with every fiber of my being, every cell in my DNA structure, of like, this is the beginning.
You can see it from the beginning of the episode where we started, from you talking to how you're speaking now. Like, there's a difference in your voice. There's a difference in your face, in your body language.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking proud of you, because I know that since you've gotten to New York, you are writing the book. So best fucking believe that the next time you come on this goddamn show, it will be to promote that motherfucking book that I have been hearing about since Asia.
Yes.
I am so stoked for you, girl.
Yeah. Thank you. And it's funny because it's like, I was so frustrated with myself of being like, why can't I write this book? What's wrong with me? And it all made sense of like, because you were waiting for this. Like, the book that I write now, like, I thought I knew. No. Like, this book is going to be so much better. And it's just, I needed this. All I can say is I needed this. And I will send that motherfucker a thank you afterwards, because wow, thank you. I wish, I'm grateful. So
I am so with you on that. It was divinely fucking perfect. Lauren, thank you so much. This was such a fucking joy to have you on. You're always so honest and vulnerable, and I'm so excited to see where your story is going to go after this life-changing event for you.
Yay. Thank you so much. And I just want to give you a little shout out for doing everything that you do, and with the second book, and just really being this trailblazer for women and for empowerment and for inspiration. And you're such a bright light. And I think you're just sharing it with the world, which is, it's special to see. And I'm just honored that I'm just your friend.
Oh, thank you, girl. That means so much to me. I have so much love for you. And until next time. I want to thank my dear friend Lauren for coming on and yet again bearing her soul on this podcast. She is such an incredible human, and I am so excited for what is to come in her life in the future. So I really urge you to go follow her. Her Instagram page is like a epic diary of soul searching. And the stuff that she writes on there is really, really amazing. So I encourage you to go connect with her on social media. Next week, you guys, I'm like a little flustered at the moment, because someone really special to me, although I have never met him, is coming on FML Talk. When I went to Asia on my big solo trip, I discovered an artist whose music genuinely spoke to my soul. And I listened to one specific album of his the entire time I was on my trip, and it truly got me through a lot of my healing. And I reached out to his management team when I had to get permission to use some of the lyrics of a specific song in The Ridiculous Misadventures. And apart from granting me permission to use those beautiful lyrics, we also invited him to come on FML Talk, and he said yes. So next week, you guys, we are officially welcoming Trevor fucking Hall to FML Talk. I am so beyond excited to share his music and his journey with you all and get to chat with him finally face to face. So I cannot wait for next week. It is going to be such a good one. I will see you there. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed so you never miss an episode. Keep up with us on Instagram at FML Talk Podcast for all of our giveaways and behind the scenes goodies. If you are not hanging out with us on Patreon, that's the place that you should be. You get access to the private Facebook group, 10% off all your merch, and tons of full season bonus episodes. Season 3 is all the stuff I had to cut out of book number 2. And it is freaking juicy, y'all. If you ever wanted all of the dirt that I can't say here, that's the spot it's currently airing on. I will see you all next week for this episode that I am so excited about. Until then, have a few self-love cocktails on me. Cheers.